Kyiv and Washington signed a long-awaited minerals deal on April 30th. Under the pretext of offering aid, Washington is maneuvering to take control of Ukraine's mineral resources, particularly rare earth elements, while obligating Kyiv to funnel all revenue from resource extraction into a joint investment fund. While German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has described it as, quote, very egotistic and very self-centered. Why is the United States so determined to secure a mineral pact with Ukraine? At the heart of this push lies the growing importance of rare earths. Often overshadowed by more commonly discussed resources, these 17 minerals are the backbone of modern technology, from military-grade defense systems to everyday consumer gadgets. Whether it's powering fighter jets, drones, or electric vehicles, or fueling the advancement of microchips and AI, rare earths are embedded in nearly every corner of society's technological and economic landscape.
The problem is that no one actually knows how much rare earth there is in Ukraine and where exactly it's located. There is a certainty that there is some, but this is based on Soviet-era exploration and surveys that date from decades ago. And on top of that, many of those minerals in Ukraine are located in Russian-held territory. According to Ukraine's economy minister, $350 billion worth of critical minerals are in areas that are currently occupied by Russia.
A report from FMI Consulting predicts the global market for rare earths will jump from $6.2 billion in 2024 to $16.1 billion by 2034. This growth is driven by soaring demand for neodymium magnets used in EVs, wind turbines, and advanced electronics. Between 2019 and 2022, a staggering 72% of U.S. rare earth imports came from China. The United States is facing mounting concerns about its ability to maintain a stable supply, grappling with challenges in both domestic production and international sourcing.
Now, the big dilemma is that geology doesn't totally favor us. So we have about 1.3% of the world's rare earths, which aren't really enough to feed the processing capabilities we're building.
Can the United States strengthen its domestic rare earth supply chain to meet growing demands? Despite striking deals abroad, the U.S. is simultaneously working to establish a domestic rare earth supply chain. However, these efforts have largely stalled. As Adam Bernstein, Technical Director for Strategic and Critical Minerals in the Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Industrial-Based Policy points out, while nearly $440 million has been allocated since 2020 to bolster U.S. rare earth capabilities, the U.S. still only has one active rare earth mine. Even with 1.8 million tons of rare earth reserves, turning these into a reliable supply chain is no easy feat.
Right now, this supply chain doesn't exist at all, right? So we could build our magnet plant as we're planning to here over this year, but then we're still going to have to source some minerals from other parts of the world. We're going to have to make metals in South Korea because none of this exists here. All of that increased costs, which makes it harder for us to compete.
The numbers tell the story. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, rare earth production in the U.S. increased by just 1,000 metric tons from 2022 to 2023, while China ramped up its output by 30,000 metric tons, 30 times the U.S. production. And it gets trickier. Despite their name, rare earth elements aren't exactly rare, but tapping into them, that's where things get tricky. In the U.S., refining capacity is limited to a few light rare earths, leaving the process from mining to separation, refining, and alloy making far from fully covered. In a report from The Economist, Yona Lazar, a consultant at GRU Group, states the bigger the motor, the weightier the rare earth you need. This means that a lack of heavy rare earths could make offshore wind turbines uncompetitive or even unavailable. According to Gracelyn Baskaran of the think tank Center for Strategic and International Studies, electric cars might be forced to switch to smaller engines, and soon the defense sector might also feel the pinch. As Linda Chrissy, program manager at the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, notes, the processes that are used right now can be 100 steps. Few countries have the whole supply chain capacity to fill China's shoes. Australia and Canada have reserves but lack the processing might.
Even in the America First agenda, he hasn't taken out the fact that we have to go global if we want to secure minerals, because we do have limited geology.
Despite the challenges and tensions, the China-US economic relationship remains complementary. China's approach has always emphasized mutual benefit, advocating for win-win partnerships that contribute to global growth and prosperity. However, if the United States persists in attempts to decouple or use unilateral measures to disrupt this balance, it risks destabilizing its own economy.